Unpl Season 5 Academy Division Draft Analysis for the Toronto Justify. Let's cue the intro. So, obviously, coming off the heels of the UMPL Spring Fling, I wasn't expecting the Academy Division to start up right away, but it has. We actually started the draft during the Spring Fling. Spring Fling didn't go exactly how I wanted, but it was low tier, and I didn't really mind doing, not making playoffs, to be honest, since this is starting up right now. There are 48 coaches in the Academy, split into first non-upload and upload divisions. Of the upload, which obviously we're in because we upload them to YouTube, we are in the Naranja division, which is 12 coaches. I'm pretty sure playoffs will incorporate both the UVA and Naranja divisions of the upload required section of the Academy. So that should be really fun. But for now, we're drafting in a pool of 12 coaches. Now, I got the wheel pick, the back wheel, so 12th overall, which I didn't really mind. Usually I don't like the back wheel because you don't really get anything good. But I'm also usually in, drafts of 16. Getting the 12th and 13th pick overall is, in my opinion, a lot different than getting the 16th and 17th pick overall. So I don't really mind this at all. Finally, the Terra captains are going to be 6 points and under, totaling 12 points. So you can have 2 or 3 probably Terra captains. I don't think I have any experience with like low tier Terra. I know obviously mid tier and high tier we've dabbled in, but this should be obviously a little new experience, so that's pretty fun. This season we are the Toronto Justify, which is a new logo. I just kind of made it on my own, and I like it. I tend to not stick with one for very long. I do have the Midnight Glide scores in the NBBL still. We're rocking out with this one for this season. So let's get right into it. I drafted Iron Bundle and Meowscarada for my first two. So I'm going to be going through this in pairs because that's how I drafted them. That's kind of my thought process. I've never used Iron Bundle in draft, and I've used Meowscarada once. This is going to be a new experience for us for sure. I've always really wanted to use Bundle, but haven't really gotten the opportunity. And when I do get the opportunity, there's a lot more things, available. Like, for example, when I drafted Polt in the WPF second overall, I could have gotten Terra Iron Bundle, but I just would rather go Polt. So I think this is pretty good because getting it 12th overall, I think is much more valuable, especially when you pair it with Meowscarada. They're both very fast and can pack a punch for sure. Obviously, Bundle being able to utilize booster speed or booster energy to get either its speed boost or a special attack boost could be a very good late game sweeper. Now, the issue with Bundle is that your best stab is Hydro Pump. You can't really click Surf or Skull. It doesn't get access to either of those moves. So you're going to be relying on an 85% accurate move. Also getting access to Flip Turn and U-Turn is pretty nice, so it can kind of facilitate some things with momentum. It's a really good late game sweeper, but it can also be like a wall breaker with a choice spec set, so that's cool. It does get some support moves like Taunt and Encore. And then, of course, Freeze Dry. Now, if this Pokemon didn't get Freeze Dry, it would probably be like 10 or 11 points or less, to be honest, because you have to be able to hit bulky waters. There aren't really the best switch-ins for this thing, and as long as, like I said, as long as you're hitting your Hydro Pumps, I feel like it can definitely bring a force to bear. And as far as Meowscarada, I think it's just a little bit better than Greninja. I really like Greninja myself, but the fact that it gets access to knockoff and it's a little stronger with base 110 attack compared to 105 special attack makes me kind of lean Meowscarada's way. Almost everything else is similar. It's a dark type, it has Protean, gets U-turn, spikes, toxic spikes, and a lot of coverage. So I wanted a couple Pokemon to kind of support the team. Specifically my first two Pokemon. So I drafted Corviknight and Rotom Heat. Now I wanted to get Treads as kind of a steel type that can also remove hazards, and it's a ground type. It's a nice little speed tier. That got taken in round 3. Shout out, I think, Bandito. So I figured the next best option is Corviknight. It can also, U-turn, which is great. It can heal itself with Roost. It can set up with Iron Defense, and it's just a nice little bulky pivot that can also defog, right? Mirror Armor could be pretty nice in some niche matchups. I just feel like it's a nice little pivot. Again, just something to kind of support my offensive Pokemon. Rotom Heat can be offensive in its own right, but because of its typing and its stats, it could be either really. It's a nice speed tier to hit, base 86, gets Volt Switch, Pain Split to heal itself potentially. It's a very good Scarfer, gets access to like Shadow Ball and Foul Play and Will-O-Wisp obviously. Rotom Heat can, kind of fill its role well. To have a fire electric type that is immune to ground is obviously very helpful. So for my next two, I got Flygon and Mesprit. I think it's pretty funny that I drafted 4 ground immunities in a row. I've used Uxie in the past. I've used Azelf in the past. I figured, let's just try Mesprit. It's a nice little mixture of the two. I can be defensive and offense, similar to Rotom Heat, Stealth Rocks, Thunder Wave, Knock Off. Great support moves, U-Turn as well. I also get a lot of coverage moves, like Flamethrower and Ice Beam, Thunderbolt I think as well. And, you know, I figured, you know, it's just a nice little, like I said, pivot, similar to my last two. Mystical Power is also a pretty cool move. I believe it's 70 base power, and it has a chance to boost your special attack, and it stabs, so that's really helpful. And then as far as Flygon, I wanted a Dragon type, but I also needed a Ground type. And I think Flygon really fits the bill. It's a nice little kind of niche Dragon Dance sweeper if I wanted to do that. It's also a really good Choice Scarfed Pokemon. Having that base 100 speed is also really important. Pretty good coverage moves, like, you know, Fire Punch, Flamethrower, Boom Burst. I think it gets a few more that I'm just not thinking of. It could be a decent special attacker. It's not the best, doesn't have the best special attack. Base 80 is not good, but, you know, it could be pretty cool. And of course, U-Turn. I think, yeah, up to this point, all my Pokemon have momentum moves. That's really good. That's something I really look for. So my next two picks were Comfey and Brambleghast. So I needed a fairy. At this point, I didn't have one, and there weren't very many good ones. And I figured, you know, I've used Comfey in past generations, and it's been all right. I think that, you know, as a fairy type, it does fill that role decently well. Obviously, with Triage as its ability, priority to healing moves. I does get U-Turn as well. I think I get Taunt as well. Nice little base 100 speed stat, good special defense. I can't really hit fire types, steel types, or poison types all that well. It is pretty frail besides the special defense, so we'll have to keep that in mind. But with that being said, I did get Brambleghast next. Now, I felt like I needed a Rapid Spinner, and I wanted to get Tentacruel actually, and I was a few picks away from it, and then someone grabbed it. I was very upset. I've wanted to use Brambleghast for a while. It was only 6 points, or was it 5 points? One of the two. So obviously it's eligible to be a Terra Captain. It is one of my Terra Captains, I'll just say that right now. But yeah, Rapid Spin, Spikes, it can heal itself with Strength Sap and Leech Seed. Obviously if it's, you know, a spinner, you want to be able to hit the spin blockers. I can hit them with a Stab. Poltergeist, super effective on the ghost types. Base 90 speed is pretty good. Base 115 attack is really good, you know, with Power Whip and Poltergeist. The Terra types are going to be Ghost, Fire, and Steel. I figured Ghost is nice because it makes my Poltergeist stronger. Fire is to hit bulky Pokemon like Steel types, I guess. And then Steel is just, you know, a little bit of a better typing. Two grass types on one team is not the most ideal in my opinion, but like I said, I've wanted to use Brambleghast for a while, so. Alright, 9th and 10th rounds, I grabbed Lantern and Grafaiai. Now, I wanted a bulky water. That's usually kind of a staple for me. I already have an electric type as well, but I feel like Lantern, you know, being weak to grass and ground is really fine. I have like a lot of things for Earthquake at this point when you look at my team. Grass types just, you know, aren't that scary in general. You know, I have Corviknight and Rotom Heat, so, and Bramble. Lantern just being there is a cheap kind of bulky pivot. Unfortunately, it, as well as the rest of the, you know, Pokedex, lost Heal Bell. Ice Beam is pretty cool. It's not very diverse, but in the right circumstance, it can be, you know, very helpful. Water Absorb and Volt Absorb is definitely what makes this Pokemon valid. You know, having those two immunities, specifically Volt Absorb, is, you know, really helpful. I don't have to put all the pressure on Flygon to be the switch in to electric type attack. Grafaiai is a poison normal type that is also something I've wanted to use for a while. Prankster Toxic is very cool. Now, this isn't a Terra Captain. I really wanted to, or I considered making Grafaiai a Terra Captain. The reason I didn't is because I don't want to turn into a typing and then it's not poison and then lose the 100% accurate toxics. So that's really what it came down to. I think sub-toxic, you know, taunt, protect, parting shot, U-turn, that kind of thing, knock off. It's just a little gadget, you know, that kind of can annoy you. It's also very fast. Now again, I don't know if people are going to speed creep for Grafaiai. They might. They probably should, because I will run this Pokemon offensively more than they expect. Last but not least is Hitmonchan. I grabbed it in the 11th round. I just wanted another spinner. I had 5 points left. I didn't have a fighting type yet, not that that's really important. It's Terra Normal, Dark, and Fairy. Now, most drafts, I think, in this generation make you pick, if you're going to do like the 3-type kind of format for Terras, one of them has to be a stab. In this league, it's not. You can pick any 3 typings. So with Brambleghast, I didn't have to pick Ghost or Grass. I chose Ghost because I thought that made sense. But for Hitmonchan, I like Normal because it boosts my Rapid Spin. I also get Double Edge, which is pretty cool. Dark can allow me to scare off those Ghost types that try to spin block me. And then Fairy, of course, is just a good defensive typing if I need to do that. I get Iron Fist, which is really cool, so I can, you know, boost drain punch damage, Mach Punch. You know, I get all the elemental punches as well, so that's really, really nice. Bullet Punch as well. I did consider Terra Steel, but I just figured I already have Terra Steel with Bramble Gas. So now Hitmonchan got Swords Dance this generation, which is really cool. It used to only be able to run Bulk Up. I think Swords Dance and plus a Rapid Spin to boost your speed could make this a pretty daunting setup threat. It could be nice. It could be a nice little gadget that I bring a few times, you know, offensively and do some fun stuff with. So that's the team. I'm a big fan of it. I will probably look at this team and want to bring like 8 or 9 of them every week. And I'm really going to have to, you know, cut it down to a few that make the most sense. Hope you enjoyed this little video, this draft analysis. I'm going to edit it heavily and make sure it's, you know, abbreviated enough to where, you know, I'm just not taking up too much of your time. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this team. I'm always open to constructive criticism if you think I should change a few things around in free agency. With all that being said, thanks for watching, and I'm going to get up on out of here. Uploads should be every Friday, I believe. Every Friday or Saturday, I don't know. You'll see. Hit the subscribe and the like button if you enjoyed this content and if you want to see more of it. So I'm going to get up on out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.